On August 5, 1989, at Edwards Air Force Base, California, seismograph stations across the Mojave Desert registered a shockwave, not from an earthquake, but from something moving through the upper atmosphere at speeds that shouldn't have been possible. 3 civilian monitoring posts recorded it simultaneously. And for the next 28 years, the U.S. Air Force, the CIA, and the Department of Defense made sure nobody would ever hear the full story. Until now, this is the story of Project Aurora, or whatever its real name was. It's a story about the obsession to dominate the skies at any cost. About engineers who pushed physics to its breaking point, about pilots who flew missions that officially never happened. And about the moment when a classified black budget line of $2.3 billion appeared in a Pentagon document and then vanished without explanation. Some parts of this story were declassified just 7 years ago. Other parts? You won't find them in any official record anywhere on Earth. Let me show you what really happened. 1984. The Cold War was entering its most technologically desperate phase. The Soviet Union's S-300 surface-to-air missile system had fundamentally broken the rules of air warfare. Suddenly, even America's most advanced aircraft were vulnerable. The United States needed a reconnaissance and strike platform that no missile on Earth could touch. The mission was codenamed Aurora. Enter the aircraft itself. Whatever it was, and the U.S. government still officially denies its existence, the Aurora was reportedly a hypersonic reconnaissance platform capable of cruising at Mach 5 to Mach 6, or roughly 3,800 to 4,600 miles per hour. It allegedly operated at altitudes exceeding 100,000 feet, the edge of space, putting it completely beyond the reach of any known interceptor or missile system. Propulsion theories range from a pulse detonation wave engine, a technology that creates a distinctive donuts-on-a-rope contrail pattern, to exotic scramjet configurations classified to this day. There were reportedly fewer than a dozen airframes ever constructed, each one hand-built at Lockheed's Skunk Works facility in Palmdale, California. The test pilot assigned to the program was a former State Route 71 Blackbird driver, a breed of aviators so elite they numbered fewer than 100 in all of U.S. history. His mission, to prove that a manned aircraft could cruise at hypersonic speeds, penetrate Soviet airspace undetected, and return home before anyone even knew it had left. Nobody outside a handful of cleared personnel knew this program existed. But the decisions made in the high desert of California over the next 6 years would either represent the most extraordinary leap in aviation history, or the most catastrophic waste of classified funding America had ever authorized. 0347 hours. March 23, 1992. A triangular aircraft, enormous, almost alien in silhouette, rolled out of its hangar at Beale Air Force Base, California. Ground crew wore full hearing protection. Even at idle, the engine note was described by one contractor as like tearing sheet metal wrapped inside thunder. The aircraft launched northward under total radio silence. NORAD tracking was deliberately blinded on a prearranged corridor. For the first 43 minutes, everything went exactly according to the mission profile. The aircraft climbed to altitude, accelerated through Mach 3 in the stratosphere, and pushed toward its test threshold. Then, at precisely 0431 hours, something went catastrophically wrong. The pulse detonation engine, operating at the absolute edge of its design envelope, suffered what engineers would later describe as an uncontained thermal event. A polite phrase for a fire burning at temperatures exceeding 3,200 degrees Fahrenheit inside the propulsion bay. The aircraft's exotic titanium composite skin, designed to handle hypersonic friction heating, was never rated for simultaneous internal and external thermal stress of this magnitude. The pilot's response was immediate and textbook. He executed the emergency power down sequence, attempted to bleed speed, and broadcast on the classified emergency frequency. Redacted call sign, we have a primary propulsion failure. I am declaring an in-flight emergency. Altitude is flight level 9 or 4. Speed is it's still climbing. I cannot. Pause. The transmission cut out for 11 seconds. When it resumed, the pilot's voice was utterly calm. That calm, say those who've heard the recording, was the most terrifying part. Within 4 minutes, the aircraft had descended from 94,000 feet to 41,000 feet in an uncontrolled glide. The pilot had exactly 3 options: eject at speeds no ejection system was rated for, attempt a dead-stick landing at an airspeed that would destroy any runway, or somehow restart a propulsion system that was actively on fire. He chose a partial restart, an almost suicidal gambit. 17 seconds later, the engine caught. The aircraft pulled out at 8,200 feet, below the mountains ringing the test corridor. The runway at Groom Lake was already foamed and emergency vehicles were waiting. He made it. Barely. This was not a $2 billion mistake. This was a $2 billion near miracle. 0 casualties. 1 aircraft with catastrophic propulsion damage. The formal investigation began 6 hours later, and what they found in the wreckage of the propulsion bay should have ended the program immediately. The damage was not a malfunction. It was a fundamental design flaw in the thermal management system, one that multiple Skunk Works engineers had flagged in internal memos as early as 1989. Those memos were classified at the highest level. They were not shared with the primary test team. The official Air Force report, dated April 1992, described the incident as the routine systems test with nominal anomalies. But documents released under FOIA requests in 2016 told an entirely different story. Internal Lockheed correspondence revealed that program managers had known for 3 years that the engine's thermal cycling specifications were optimistic by a factor that made sustained hypersonic cruise not just dangerous, but theoretically impossible with the materials available. The program had continued anyway. Not because the engineers believed they had solved the problem, but because $2.3 billion had already been spent. The bureaucratic momentum was unstoppable, and admitting failure to the oversight committees was simply not an option anyone in the chain of command was willing to entertain. The Skunk Works engineers who raised the earliest objections were quietly reassigned. 2 filed complaints through internal channels. Both were told the program was too classified to subject to standard safety review processes. Families of the test support personnel, those who worked the ground crew on classified Aurora flights, have never been officially told what their loved ones were working on. Their security clearances followed them into retirement and into silence. To this day, the full Aurora flight logs remain classified under Executive Order 13526, and here's what still doesn't make sense. In the 1994 Pentagon budget, a line item of $2.3 billion labeled simply Aurora appeared in a document that was accidentally filed without proper redaction. When this was reported by Aviation Week and space technology journalist Bill Sweetman, a man who has spent 30 years tracking black programs, the Pentagon's response wasn't a denial. It was silence. Total, deliberate silence. Which, in the world of classified aviation, is louder than any press release. Pause. Was it a reconnaissance aircraft that genuinely worked, a successor to the State Route 71 that has been flying classified missions for 4 decades without public knowledge? Was it a failed program that ate billions, killed the dreams of the engineers who built it, and was quietly canceled and buried? Or was it something darker, a cover story for an even more classified program that the Aurora designation was designed to absorb and deflect attention from? Aviation historian Bill Sweetman, who has tracked this program longer than almost anyone, has said simply, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, especially when the people controlling the evidence also control what gets classified. What we do know is this: the Aurora story reveals something profound and deeply uncomfortable about the way that classified military aviation programs operate beyond the reach of congressional oversight, safety regulation, and basic accountability. When national security becomes the reason to override engineering judgment, people get killed. Or very nearly killed. And the men who risked their lives in those cockpits, flying machines the public wasn't supposed to know existed, deserve to be part of the historical record. These same dynamics, black budgets, institutional momentum overriding safety data, engineers silenced by classification, are present in classified programs operating right now, in hangars you will never see, in airspace that doesn't officially exist. The crew of Aurora deserve better. The engineers who told the truth deserve to be heard. And history deserves to remember that sometimes, the most dangerous thing in aviation isn't the aircraft. It's the decision to keep flying it anyway. There are more stories like this. Stories the black budget world hoped would stay buried forever. Next week, I'm releasing a deep dive on Operation Copperhead, the classified State Route 71 mission over North Korea that nearly triggered a shooting war in 1981, and let me tell you, the declassified radio intercepts alone will make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Drop a comment below. Do you think Aurora ever flew operationally? Or was it the world's most expensive dead end? I read every single comment. And to the men and women in uniform watching this, the ones who know exactly which parts of this story I got right and which parts one couldn't get to, thank you. Your service is not invisible, even when your aircraft are. I'll see you in the next one.